In August, I'll be attending my high school's 50th reunion of my class's graduation. We graduated as a class in 1976. 50 years, it just seems incredible. But one of the things that I constantly think about, especially doing these videos and talking to you, my sisters who are also questing queens, what identity will I bring to that gathering? When my classmates and I graduated on that warm June evening in 1976, there were many people that I thought, well, I'll never see them again. Back in high school, our identities were segmented. There were the band nerds. There were the AV geeks and a few of the artsy ones. Those names, whether complimentary or not, were how we identified with each other. Identity. I think now how far I have come in these 50 years. I have accomplished dreams and reached goals that, truthfully, I had no idea how I would get to a certain point. When I was 18 years old, hanging the tassel from the rearview mirror of my dad's car, I wanted another 3 tassels to hang alongside. College was right around the corner. I was already planning to attend. I was the first in my immediate family to go to college. There are challenges with being a first-generation college student. And one of the challenges is that your parents and your family don't quite know how to support you. 2 weeks after I graduated college, I married my college sweetheart. We had met in the spring of our freshman year. I proposed to him 2 weeks after our first date. He said, "We'll see." My identity when I graduated college would be a wife. I think much of what fueled our early lives together was not based on career or money. It was based on relationship. I took a job working retail in a fabric store. His career began working in the sporting goods industry as a purchasing agent. He began to travel around the world. His identity became a world traveler, while mine stayed as a clerk in a fabric store. I always thought, there's got to be more. My identity is not as a cashier. Through that job, I learned the skills of making and creating, fabricating custom window treatments for customers. This fabric store not only sold fabric off the bolt and notions and trimmings, they also had an interior design department. Eventually, they needed somebody to complete a job, and knowing that I had taken some contract work, they asked me if I'd be interested. I said, yes, of course. I remember the job was to sew a balloon shade. My identity was now seamstress. My husband, tired of the identity of world traveler, he resented the fact that our newborn son was growing up without daddy home every evening. 2 years later, when we had our daughter, he proposed the idea that we start our own business. Our identity now became business owners. That led us to open a workroom where we hired employees. One Christmas, my husband didn't know what to give me for Christmas, Our kids had been taking music lessons at a local music studio. I suggested maybe I could have lessons. On the bass clarinet, my identity grew. Now I was not just wife and mom, I was also a student. Perhaps this one new addition of being a student is the thing that has colored so much of my life since that high school graduation. I had a private teacher for the first time in my life. And in the evenings, I spent time practicing. I learned that progress comes from putting in daily study. This led me to taking on the further identity of a student in a graduate program, to be able to apply for and obtain the job as a professor teaching college writing to young students. My identity not only was a student, a mom, a wife, a boss, but also a teacher. Over the past few months, I have spent a lot of time journaling, researching, reflecting, thinking deeply about this becoming. I understand now that my identity is so much more than a coach, a life coach, a creativity coach. My identity is a researcher and a conveyor of knowledge. And this morning, I had a revelation. If I assume the identity of a successful YouTuber, that is what I will and have become. Don't be afraid to assume an identity. People in your family may not approve, they may not understand, but you, my sisters, you know what you need. Don't wait for permission. Assume the identity. Try this. On a piece of paper, make a list of the identities that you see for yourself. Start with who you were, then think about who you are, and finally move on to who you hope to be. That's it. Let it sit. And the next time you meet somebody and they ask, what do? Choose one of those identities that you hope to be and assume that role. Everything will come together to support that. You can follow the BRAID Compass. B, begin. R, reflect. A, act. Small acts, one step. I, invite. Who can you share this new identity with? Ask them out to lunch, meet for coffee, invite, and then you will deliver this new identity. Let me know in the comments, what is your identity? Where did you come from? Where are you now? And where do you hope to be? Thanks so much for watching to the end. We are the Sisterhood of Questing Queens. Together, we can change the world and ourselves.